Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, you just saw her right there inside the hearing. She's actually stepped out that ongoing hearing outside of it with Mark Zuckerberg on Capitol Hill to talk with us about how it's going. So first of all, great to see you. And I want to start where things got a little contentious there. Talk to me about that moment when Mark Zuckerberg was basically asked, you have certain people you don't really like on Facebook, apparently, because you push out conservative voices, so on and so forth. Diamond and Silk came up, and you said...
Yes, I said that they are not terrorism. Here is the thing, Karis. I have chaired as the chairman of communications and technology. I've already done one hearing on algorithms, getting ready to do a second one. And next week, I'm going to do a hearing on prioritization. And we're looking at how social media manipulates what they push forward, what they prioritize, and what they censor. So I asked Mark Zuckerberg if he subjectively manipulated these algorithms to yield a certain result or a certain outcome. And he began to say, well, that they didn't, except for things like terrorism. And I pointed out, Diamond and Silk are not terrorism. Now, many of us have been censored at different times for different reasons by social media, Facebook, YouTube, and this is why I contend that this is the first of many hearings as we look at the need for privacy regulations because of the violations to privacy and speech by the social media. And Harris, you have financial services, banking, credit bureaus, people that manage benefits, your broker, that all have extensive privacy regulations that protect you, the consumer. That is your toolbox for protecting your virtual you online. The only segment of the industry that has zero regulation, zero federal statutes is social media, and that is why we have to have one regulator, one set of rules for the internet ecosystem. And I pushed forward the Browser Act, which is bipartisan. I've had that bill for well over a year, and it is time for us to pass that and get it to the president's desk.
You know, some of the observation about these hearings is that the questions from the left side of the political aisle have been more toward regulation than the right side of the political aisle. What do you say about that?
What we want is not a panoply of regulators. We want one federal statute. The Browser Act is simply 13 pages. It allows consumers to opt in and decide for themselves what they would like shared as within their data. And it gives them ownership of their data. The question to ask is, who owns the virtual you? And Mr. Zuckerberg said today, if you post a picture, he said this in response to Ms. Matsui, then they, Facebook, own that. Wow. Well, I would venture and would offer to him, no, you don't. That belongs to the individual who is utilizing your service, and they reserve to themselves in the virtual space, exactly as they do in the physical space, how that is going to be used, and it ought not to be used without their consent.
You know, that is so fascinating, because that speaks to the very divide where we have stood with this. Mark Zuckerberg sees it one way, that it belongs to Facebook, according to what he said, that you say he said in the hearing. And then the rest of everybody else, those of us who really understand you don't have much of any privacy online, but you do expect what you post to be something that belongs to you, to make decisions about that. That is the dividing line. That is the disconnect. So if the Browser Act is passed, those 13 pages, and you get what's called an opt-in or an opt-out, how do you keep Facebook and others honest?
You do it through the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC has been our nation's privacy regulator now for decades. And for the past 20 years, they have regulated the virtual space. They're the ones that issued the consent decree on Facebook and brought them in compliance in 2011. And after that is when we started the Privacy Working Group, which I chaired. And for 4 years, we've been trying to pass data security and privacy legislation. See, Harris, you need that federal statute so that the regulator, in this case the FTC, can say, all right, Google or Yahoo or YouTube or Facebook or whomever, you're outside of the allowance given to you by federal statute. Therefore, we're going to conduct an investigation and issue to you criminal or violations or penalties, however we move forward with that component of it. But yes, we need data security, which is breach notification.
Okay.
And we also need privacy, which reserves to the individual the right to protect themselves online.
Boy, it's interesting. I've been watching a couple of days of this. I'm really curious to see how much buy-in these companies are going to have on being regulated, even in that way. But you're getting to the bottom of some things. And the Browser Act, authored by Congresswoman Blackburn, we're learning about today. Thank you very much. Great to see you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.